Hey guys, it's Josh, posting my video. The topic this week, hold on my phone, sorry. The topic this week is to be stealth or not to be stealth. What are your views on being stealth and, you know. Um, for me, I live probably 98% stealth. I transitioned in Arkansas and I moved to Florida where my family lives. Um, the only people that really know here is obviously my wife, my family, friends that I had before, um, and a couple of other people, some close friends I've made or coworkers, or like my HR department had to know at work. My boss knows, but that's pretty much it. Anyone that meets me now does not know that I am transgender. Um, Whether or not to be stealth is a really personal decision and a really personal thing to deal with. For me, I struggle with it personally. It's really no one's business what I am or what I was, but I feel like I'm lying sometimes when I have close friends that don't know. I try to think how I would feel if I was very close with someone as a friend, as a best friend, let's say, and shared things with them and this and that, and found out later on in the relationship, oh, by the way, this person used to be a this or a that. I wouldn't stop being friends with them by any means, but sorry, but it may still. I guess I would feel like maybe they didn't trust me enough to tell me, and that would hurt. And that's kind of where I struggle. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of being transgender. I have had some issues in Arkansas being out or in the beginning stages of my transition, where I didn't look like I look now. I don't know if I mentioned in a previous video, I was assaulted twice in a men's room. First time wasn't much of anything big. It was right after my top surgery, and I busted some staples open, and that was, you know. The second time was in a men's room at a restaurant in a public place, and I got my jaw broken and got some teeth knocked out right there. Um, but it wasn't right after surgery, so I was much stronger, and I kicked the guy's ass, and I busted his face in the urinal. Um, 'Cause that's pretty much it. Just after that, I was so nervous and so paranoid because there's only so much physically I can do. Luckily, this guy was smaller than me, and he had a little bit of the sauce in him, so he thought he was brave. But I don't. That's Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? It's in the Midwest, the middle of the Bible Belt. It's a lot more conservative. Florida does have parts like that are super redneck. I don't know why, but that are super conservative. If you're anything different, you really shouldn't go there, kind of thing. I still struggle with whether or not to tell anybody, with whether or not to just be like, oh, by the way, this is who I am. Um, it's really no one's business, so that should answer my own question for me. But at the same time, like I said before, I feel like I'm almost living as if I'm ashamed of who I am, and I'm not, by any means, ashamed of anything about being transgender. To go stealth or not to go stealth depends on so many things. Because you could, let's say, not live stealth and really be putting yourself in danger depending on where you live or the type of community you live in. It could affect jobs in the future if you go in there and are totally wide open, like, hey, I'm trans, yeah. They may not hire you, and they have that right, unfortunately. A lot of states now are right-to-work states. I had a job at a doctor's office in Arkansas that I loved. The doctor was awesome. I had just started, and a patient came in that knew me before and had big problems with me transitioning. And when she went back with the doctor, she happened to meet with the office manager and said, hey, did you know your medical records guy actually used to be a girl? I was fired 2 days later for not fitting in with the office. Although, before she came in, everything was, rainbow and dildos and everybody was happy. So, those kind of things can happen. I work for a company now that is very large, like very large. So I had to tell my HR department, someone that works there knew me from before, and decided to be a bitch about it and make a stink about it and open up her face about it. So I informed HR before anyone else found out. I wanted them to know and hear it from me that this is who I am. They had no problem with it. They didn't care, whatever. I know my office would protect me. There's another transgender person that works in my office that is MTF that has just begun her transition. I mean, like a week ago, begun her transition into hormones and that kind of stuff. She presents 100% of the time as female, and they've been super supportive of her. So I know in my job it wouldn't make a big difference with management or HR or those kind of things, but I know that with coworkers it may be different. You know, people that you work with, people that you sit side by side with and plug along the day with, they may just freak out. And, you know, I don't want him sitting near me. I don't want him this. I don't want him that. You know, you just never know. I think a lot about going stealth or not depends on where you live. Depends on your level of safety. Depends on if you have a job or not. I mean, like I said, there's sometimes when you can't help but out yourself. Like before your name is changed, but you're on T, so you have a beard, but your name is, you know, Jessica or some crazy shit. You know, you obviously have to be like, listen, this is what's going on. But in the very beginning stages, you know, before hormones and that kind of stuff, it would be something you'd have to out yourself. But in a stage like mine, where my name is legally changed, my gender is legally changed, I'm legally married as a man to my wife, who is a woman, that's where I struggle. My driver's license has M, my social security card, their records are male, my passport is male, my marriage license says I'm a man and married to a woman legally. I don't really have to out anything. But on a personal level, I struggle with it every single day. There's people that, say I lived in Florida years ago and then moved away and then moved back. There's people that I work with now that I knew before, and they don't recognize me. And I can't be like, oh yeah, we used to blah 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 together. We used to hang out. We used to go here. I can't because, and that's really, I have a good friend of mine at work that I worked with before, and she doesn't remember who I was. I haven't told her that, by the way. Do you remember Jennifer Ortiz? You know, she doesn't remember. She just knows Josh. And that's great, but at the same time, we have such a deeper friendship because we were friends 10 years ago. And then we lost touch when I moved, and now I'm back, and she has no idea who I am. So I still struggle with that. Like I said, going stealth or not to go stealth is a super personal decision. I just want everyone to consider their surroundings, where they live, their safety level, their support system. You want to make sure that you have someone, you know, in your family, whether it's a spouse or a roommate or whatever, in your home familial unit, to really be supportive of you when you do decide to come out, because it's not always going to go as well as expected. So just stay safe and really consider all of the things before you decide to out yourself, and just be out and proud. Like I said, always be proud of who you are. Don't ever be ashamed of being trans. But, you know, you may want to go ahead and just really think deep as to whether coming out and living non-stealth is the best choice for you. I'm still trying to figure out if it's the best choice for me, but time will tell. I thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope everyone's well, and I look forward to posting next week. Namaste.